Hello all and welcome to the show that proves beyond a doubt that with indomitable strength and the ability to harness the power of one's mind, one's circumstances do not define their limits in life. My name is Rafil Wemwilwa, here for only today while Bophelong is away. So today's profile is one of incredible resilience because, as Irish author Michael Scott once aptly put it, the strong survive, but the courageous, they triumph. Let's meet Teboho Twala.
Teboho Twala, born and bred in the Free State, was brought up by his grandmother from a tender age. His childhood seemed fair when staying with his grandmother.
Shortly after I was born, I'm told my mom used to work in Sasolbeck and lived there. So she left me with my grandmom at a very young age.
While enjoying being raised by his grandmother, Teboho's mother came back to take him with to Welkom.
Me and my mom sort of reunited, and I went to live with her. At the time, he had already my younger brother, who came from a different father. So from then on, I then went to live with them and my stepfather.
Being with his mom turned out not to be as comfortable as he had anticipated.
My mom started dwelling into things like alcohol and whatnot. And all along, my mom was more like a housewife. And then she started working, because then we didn't have like a consistent source of income, because at the time my stepfather would only give us money when he feels like,
Teboho's mother started abusing alcohol and physically abusing her children.
Babi ke ngwana hotseng ha bohloko bophelong ba hae. Hantle bana ba safari ya le mme wa hae. Ho fitlela he mathata hantsa a ta ka rollapa. Ntate a tswa ka rollapa a tsamaya ke mo mme ala qala a shapa bana.
Being their direct neighbor, Mrs. Sophie Mukoni saw the abuse and tried intervening but failed.
Ka nka papi ka mo pata ho nna. Ha ke mo patile nna o fumana hore ha o sana ma mo bonang teng. Batho ba mo bonang ba mo bolella hore papi o teng ho nna wa tla o tlo lwana mono etsa moferefere hore papi a tswe mono. Ha ke kwetse ka moring, ha o tloa mme ha ya bua ka kitchen o na tswa ka festere. A dula ha butio mong ka hara mahaba mokopu ho konyantja ke mana phela dimbong ha tloa bona.
The physical and verbal abuse became a daily beat in Teboho's life.
On that day, I was boiling the water for her. And then it happened that I happened to sleep on the table because I was really tired. So she came through late that night. And when she got in, she had her own key, so she unlocked and got in. I was woken up by her, and already beating me up. And unfortunately, the water in the kettle had boiled out, basically evaporated. And I remember that kettle was like red, so after beating me up, she was obviously fighting me that I had left the kettle there. Obviously, she's intoxicated, neither did she remember that I'm only human and I was bound to sleep because I had been working all afternoon. And she took that kettle and basically was beating me up with it. So I have scars here where, I was beaten up with that hot kettle.
This incident is still vivid in his mind to date.
I remember the one incident where I think she sent out police to come and look for me in the streets. And then I was running away and, one police opened, obviously, fire. I was never shot or anything like that. I think it was just to scare me so I can stop. And I stopped and I was taken home. And the picture that was painted was as though I ran away from home, which was not true. I remember that night, I slept there. The morning after, I was beaten up again.
He used this vacant place as his hideout place from his mom.
Unfortunately, it got worse, so much that I was chased out of the house at some point, and I went to live off handouts from the people of Welkom. And the neighbors had tried to speak sense to my mom. It would be an issue of she was drunk, therefore the next day it's almost like, okay, I'm sorry, and then you come back home, and next time she's drunk again, she beats you up, chases you away. So it became like something that happens all the time.
Sadly, but to his relief, Teboho found himself having to sleep on the streets.
When I stayed in the streets, then I met some other people that also lived in the streets that had different experiences from mine, that ended up in streets for different reasons.
One of his football mates saw that Teboho was sleeping behind their local supermarket. He inquired, and Teboho was willing to share his pain.
Being in the streets, then I was playing with other kids in the streets. I'm playing with other kids. There was this one kid, his name is Lekula, that I used to protect a lot. Like every time somebody wants to beat me, you know, kids always want to beat each other up and this and that. There's always groups and stuff. So during that time, I would always be protecting him. And he would tell his parents about me.
Lekula Mokhati saw Teboho as an older brother, and he one day opened up to him.
So we both put man around the name Tuna, Jim Tadulang, Latin or Balan, Latin was Latin. So can I go and happy to begin to see that in Felaga comes to the tentative. The Nan take an example now, which me sent from the name Bophelong Twala,
Lekula then started sharing and taking food for Teboho from his home. Lekula's mother saw a pattern of Lekula asking for extra food.
Lekula mhlele racking wathela abang ko porque ska baka lahla makoko ke motse makoko a wetsang ka one nne le maria ka boju ara ona le ngwana dulang ka mane mhlele mhlaka fetela mona ke msiela dijotse okay ho fitlela re atlele yena re tlo mona ngwaneng o ile atlele yena ha atlele yena ra mona bonnete ba kena ba tika ba isa mafahla ka tsamaya bona ka ile bona Edgars ka ile ba isa mafahla ka ba rekela itrexu tse tshwanang ka ya sekolong ka ile bulela hore ke tla mo kenya sekolo ka ile itla mo re ke tla mo kenya sekolo.
After getting used to sleeping at dump areas and vacant old shops, Teboho says being taken in by Lekula's parents gave him a glimpse of hope.
One time they asked me to come over in the evening, and then I came over there and I was given a bath, and yeah, to my surprise I was given a bath and clothes, some of Lekula's clothes and stuff.
Teboho says being on the streets never made him a bad person, but rather a strong one.
The one thing I did right was, despite being a street kid, you'd find this out in the streets of Welcome. I'd never stolen from anybody. I'd never taken drugs except in winter when I had to take like glue or petrol or benzene to get a little bit intoxicated so you can sleep.
Stay tuned, because after the break, Teboho tells us about how through the gift of education, all thanks to the blessings of newfound family and having wonderful mentors, he managed, despite all his obstacles, to rewrite his life script.
It's Macro's 45th Big Birthday Bash, and our gift to you is big savings. Get the Samsung 55-inch Smart Curved UHD TV for $14,999, save $5,000. The Hisense Fridge Freezer, only $9,999, save $3,000. And the Seagate 5TB external drive, only $2,999. Our gift to you, a free 1TB portable drive. Get these and many other great deals in-store and online with Macro's Big Birthday Bash. Macro, big on life.
Welcome back to Bophelong. So in the first segment, we met Teboho Twala, who has survived many harrowing experiences in his early life. This was a boy who was not meant to succeed if you don't believe in any higher power than yourself. But he did. Take a look.
Teboho Twala, despite all the challenges that made his future seem gloomy and blue, found peace to move on and change his story. His first move was forgiving his mother.
As traumatic as it was, it became like a rather easy experience to sort of put at the back, not completely forget, but put at the back. And also, it became a little bit easier for me I think, to forgive Mama. There's a person I wouldn't believe she was quite a funny person. You know? She was a good person somehow. You know.
Teboho focused on his schooling and excelled.
I just focused on my schooling. I really started focusing when I was doing grade 10. That's when I realized that life was not as easy.
His biological aunt came forth to assist Teboho together with the new family.
Hanka ujutsa tšhelete ene ke kgola gore na ene ile bokae o ka se believe ne ke kgola 220 rand ka nako e yena na tla mona university empa he ka mohau wa modimo magoa ana a ka e ke ya sebeletsang moshumane wa teng o la etsa hore a kgone ho mo patalla di fees tsa hae mola university a kgona he hore a qhobele le dithuto tsa hae.
He pursued a career in mining and his life started being a dream.
I worked first for SAP, making beer, and I worked also for Impala Platinum. I spent many years at Impala Platinum. I think if at all, these two blue chip companies, I learned a lot, like in terms of systems, discipline, you know, and what is expected of you as an employee. And I was quite fortunate because at Impala I had a bigger responsibility because I was in the management of the plant.
He started traveling and embracing every moment.
I had an opportunity to go and work for a company called Koch that sent me to Nigeria. It's a German company, and they sent me to Nigeria to work in Nigeria.
His move to Nigeria opened his entrepreneurial eye.
I went to Nigeria, and I think that's where I learned a lot about entrepreneurship. Because, I mean, when you get off a plane in Nigeria, there were so many people already selling to you, you know, like everyone is like so entrepreneurial.
He then researched and learned skills of conducting business from his superiors.
I had a fantastic managing director. He used to take me to meetings when he has meetings with the ministers when we're going to go and present to the Minister of Minerals and Energy there, to the Ministry of Steelworks. And then he'll throw me in the deep end to do a presentation to such dignitaries, you know, high-level people.
Confidence built and the will to be his own boss, Teboho started his own company, Soul Africa.
How I started my business was, I already registered a business. But when I came home for a holiday in Nigeria, I saw an opportunity and I decided there and then that I'm going to try that opportunity. If it worked, I had 3 weeks to make it happen. So if it worked, then I'm not going back. Because to be quite frank, I enjoyed everything about working in it, but there was no life. I made quite decent money, but I wasn't able to spend it, you know, and it became really frustrating.
Time and opportunity favored Teboho when he signed his first contract.
I started my business by seeing an opportunity on one newspaper called Rustenburg Herald, where one company called Sitona Mining was looking for trucks to transport chrome between Rustenburg and Witbank. And I knew one of the directors at Sitona, Sim. He's quite known, Mr. Sim Morwani actually. He's quite known in Rustenburg. And then I saw the opportunity. And then I asked him about it. And he tried his best to link me up. At the time I owned no truck. They were just looking for young entrepreneurs that had trucks. So I phoned around looking for trucks. And this guy actually gave me office space at his office. And then I made it happen because there were lots of people that had trucks.
He used up all his savings to get the company running.
I invested the money I had made while I was in Nigeria, obviously it needed a startup capital, like to fuel trucks, toll gates, and so on and so forth. So I invested that money in that business, and it worked out.
Business doing well, the entrepreneurial edge pushed him to do more.
I tried a lot of things. I was doing events in Rustenburg, and then I had a contract with SAB to supply the promotions, and I also developed some concept to help them sell Hansa in Rustenburg. So fortunately I wrote a proposal to them to show them how I could help them improve their sales of Hansa and all that, because they were really trying to push the Hansa at the time. Then fortunately I got the opportunity, and they liked my concept. And then I started this team of commercial boat cruises in Hartbees Sportem. I made quite decent profit from it. I remember one of my best friend actually didn't believe that I could fill up a boat with 200 people. And I always believed I could do it. And I had to take my money and invest in it. It was a bit of a gamble, to be honest. That's how the obviously evolution of commercializing the boat cruises in Hartbees Sportem started.
From the streets to the boardroom, you'll want to hear about how a seemingly simple but necessary business idea, the brainchild of Teboho, is now his driving force, and even to others. We're back after this break.
What's wrong with Triple M? What is illegal here? Who is being defrauded here, Trevor?
It is about the best interest of the citizens of this country.
But the citizens are the ones who are playing, who are members or participants in this. If you put in 50,000 rand, after 12 months you get 1.2 million rands. I mean, who wouldn't go for this?
Watch Question Time with me, Mpho Tsedu, Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on the SABC News Channel.
What causes Parkinson's? How common is it?
Your research showed that it's slightly more prevalent in men.
Yeah.
It's equally affected at women as well.
Yeah.
And all races can be affected with Parkinson's. There is no such thing as one race is more prevalent than the other.
Parkinson's disease is the disorder of degeneration of the neurons, therefore exposes one to have those unwanted movements of the body.
I live my normal life. I wake up in the morning, I do some exercises here and there.
It's just a movement disorder. It's going to affect how he lives his life. And I think as a family, it's just helped us get a little bit closer and surround him.
Catch Health Talk every Saturday from 9 to 10 with Dr. Silo Mutawu.
Welcome back to Bophelong. Innovation and entrepreneurial spirit have been the cornerstones of so many great leaders. Now here's a man who refused to give up on life and himself. And today he's a beacon of light to his peers, his community, and already he's passing on the baton.
Teboho Twala today allows those who once felt pity for him to be proud of him. He has made strides as an entrepreneur and recently came up with a world phenomenon hangover solution.
The beverage zero hangover, if I was to tell you, the story actually goes back to Nigeria. This is where I'm saying Nigeria actually taught me a lot of things. Because I remember one time, one of our friends was really hangover. And being really hangover, he was one South African guy. It was only two of us, a South African guy. And now I started talking to the Germans to say, I wonder if there's no hangover solution. Because being in Nigeria, I had plenty of time to do research and all that. So I started researching about how can you develop a hangover solution. Our aim is to create a brand that will leave a lasting legacy. Our aim is to create a brand that will create opportunities for young professionals to come and showcase their talent and grow the brand and grow it into heights we would have never imagined. So it's always been, when we started, we always knew this is what we wanted to do, and we want to grow the brand that big.
The triple R effect, which rehydrates, replenishes and revitalizes, is also a solution for economic problems, he says.
Lots and lots of people drink alcohol, and lots of people suffer from hangover on a daily basis, particularly on Mondays and on Fridays. You look at companies, there's always sick notes, because people are hangover because they've been taking alcohol, lots of alcohol the night before. Now, there's also an economic factor, that plays a role in terms of the zero hangover. It's got a role to play there in terms of helping, saving so much money that is lost by our economy because of sick leaves and people being absent from work.
Teboho says the reason for his product to be so big is because of its natural formula.
It was designed from plant extracts and natural herbs. It doesn't have your typical caffeine or buran or taurine. It's got natural energy. So it doesn't have to be taken only by people that take alcohol. It's a drink you can take on a daily basis, even when you don't have hangover. You can feel the kick when you take it. It gives you that energy, and there's no after effects, because as I said, it's not like it's caffeine that gets injected in your body now, and then 1 or 2 hours later you're out of your energy, and then you have to sleep or you've lost all your energy you had.
Mohorosi Litebele, a project manager for the Zero Hangover brand, explains plans for the brand.
Zero Hangover, we can't call it a project. It's a lifetime involvement. We planning to be on this one for the longest time.
Besides dealing with the hangover, Mohorosi explains other intentions of the brand.
Besides the fact that this product is a functional product, it's not just a product to be consumed for pleasure, which you can. But most importantly, the people who see the most benefit will be those that are struggling with the negative effects of a hangover.
For Women's Month, Teboho hosted an event sponsored by Zero Hangover.
It's business. We all have responsibility to plow back. We all have responsibility to embark on things that change people's lives. And this being a Women's Month, as a brand, we then decided that we want to position ourselves as that brand that shows that we care about our women. And that shows that we know Women's Day, how it came about. We appreciate what the women of 1956 did, and we understand that women today experience different challenges. And we thought then, how about we organize an event that directly speaks to women, an event that will be so informative and empowering, and also inspirational.
For Nelson Mandela Day, Teboho empowered street vendors around Joburg.
For Nelson Mandela Day, we embarked on something quite unique, where we gave about 67 street vendors around Joburg an opportunity to sell a product, our product, and start up. We gave them cases for free as a startup, and we asked them go and sell. With the money you get there, it's your choice whether you come back to us and buy our product again and go and sell again. As many of them, they sold out the product. There's many of them that have come back and ordered the product again.
Because he was a struggling student himself, Teboho reached out to students and gave them their first stock for free.
They're selling the product from their university residence, and that means they don't have to leave the university to go and work. And the margins they're making on the product are significant enough. So in terms of time, it saves them time, unlike having to go and do promotions all over and lose the whole day of study while they're trying to make extra income. So with our product, they don't have to do that. I can tell you now that a committed student in selling the product would easily make about $600 a month.
Tuso is a third-year student at the University of Johannesburg. He told us how he's benefiting from the Zero Hangover brand.
For me, it's easy to sell this because I'm on campus a lot of the time, and this is a chance for me to make an extra buck on the side as well. This for me is a stepping stone to a business. It might be small as in selling to people, but this is a stepping stone to maybe starting something bigger for myself.
His childhood friend says many won't believe his miracle story.
Batho ba mmona no tjena na moalente ha bana believe hore na ona robala ka moga shopo yona e re emeng pela yona ka mo morao ka mono sna di hostel tse se di hauwe no tjena ne re ha o hoseng ha re tla mo shopong ne re na lo thusa mo shopong mona datwa mona le morane ba dula ba re pitsa ne neng re hlatswa dikoloi le neng re ntsha bo di apole tse o tlileng bo bohloko bo di banana bo di tamati re dinke ba gare tsa mola hlantoti ka morao ka da ne tla ra o potela ka mo morao no tlo mfumana dutsi ka mo antsaja.
Teboho has written a story that empowers the faint-hearted and has made it his call to empower others.
Ke le bo ntate modimo hore ebe o boemong bona ba leng ho bona hana jwale ke e tla ba mohlala ho bana ba bangata ba iphumanang tsa ba ya hodimo lefatshe ba sa tsebe hore na bokamoso ba bona ke bofeng.
Ha ene le hore mohlolo mo ho etsahala pelo e bulwe motho a ishebe ka hare ka mokgoi bang ke kgotsofetse ka teng.
Ke bona kana mahlono lo feta mo le nna ke le ka ra ha ntsa re o tla mfa eng o tla mfa ka ra modimo ke na tla bless
ke ipula ke thabile haholo go ba lete ka ke re nna ntse re mlakaletsa mahlono rana ka ngwana ana ke ba phela ne re sa lebella go no motho mo tlaba ga di kgwebo ke tse kalo
ke ga ye pele a be blessed to feta mo ka mo a leng ka teng tje.
My motto is very simple in life. I always believe that everything you have is what you work for. There's nothing that will come to you unless you go for it and go look for it.
A man who also values and celebrates the importance of women. Fantastic. Thank you so very much. I'm sure many were inspired, Mr. Twala. And so with that, we are at the end of today's show. Adversity may indeed be the mother of progress, but also remember that a wise man adapts himself to circumstances as water shapes itself to the vessel that contains it. A fitting description from a Chinese proverb for today's show. Thank you so very much for joining me, Refuel Mwilwa, this week on Bophelong, and do tune in again next week for more great stories and voices of triumph against the odds. Goodbye.